Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today, this beautiful Saturday morning, or maybe afternoon or nighttime for some of you guys watching, I want to talk about Bitcoin and altcoins that are a massive discount. There's a lot of discounts out there, a lot of bargains to be had. So I'm going to discuss which coins, and also I do have a very nice video to show you guys. This is from one of the Wall Street veterans. He's talking about stocks, but what he says just makes a whole lot of sense. Just a whole lot of sense. Talks about investing and why you should ignore the FUD and why you should focus on the future. I think it applies to our situation right now perfectly. So I want to show you guys that as well. So thanks for tuning in. As always, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams every day, 11:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, especially Instagram. My Instagram account is blowing up with good content, and TikTok. Now I'm slow out with TikTok, but I am planning on building that up. So make sure you follow me everywhere and make sure you hit that notification bell. All right, let's do this, guys. Lively crowd once again. Let me change my screen here. All right. So Bitcoin, a little bit lower, 34.6, and it did hit as low as 33.9, right? So obviously lower than yesterday. It seemed like there was a slight fake out by the whales. And that is because last night we were actually doing pretty good. I think all the way up until this morning, you know, we had a sudden pump over here back to 37, and this is one of the things that whales do sometimes. They make you think, okay, this is time where it's going to start pumping up, and in fact it goes the opposite way, right? So there's clearly still a whale movement right now that we can see, but Bitcoin is where it is. People are still freaked out whether or not we're going to retest 30,000, which could happen. We saw that a few weeks ago. Can I retouch something like 31, 32? Maybe. But there's just so much fear going on about Bitcoin going lower, going back to 20,000. The top is here. There's just a lot of FUD right now, right? This is what I've been telling you guys recently, to basically shut yourself out from the FUD. And there is a lot. There is a lot out there, right? There's more than ever, media-driven FUD, you know, Twitter, social media FUD, and there's just other influencers that's also causing FUD. And you know what? If you want to be in this game, if you want to be in it for a long haul, you really need to ignore it, and you need to actually do what the big whales do, and that is to buy low and sell high, which is why I want to cover these massively discounted altcoins today. Now, with that said, I promise you I hyped up this video. I want to show this to you guys. I actually came across this video. I came across this video last night on TikTok. TikTok actually has some good videos. It's not just girls dancing around. But this one is, I think it really applies. This is from Peter Lynch, one of the veterans of Wall Street, vice chairman, Fidelity Investments. And he's just talking a whole lot of sense. I mean, this is what he's saying in this video is just common sense. And whether or not you're an investor or you're a trader, and he's definitely on the investment side. And even though he's talking about stocks, I mean, just listen to it. It applies to crypto as well. So let me play this for you guys. All right, let's do this. Let me turn this on.
On the way to work, the amount of bad news you can hear is almost infinite now. So the question is, can you take that? I mean, do you really have faith that 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, common stocks are a place to be? If you believe in that, you should have some money in equity funds. I mean, it's a question, what's your tolerance for pain? I mean,
first point is, there's media FUD everywhere. Every day you wake up, you go to work. I don't know how many people still drive into work, but you're hearing nothing but FUD, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And that's because media is trained to do that. They get more hits, more listens if they're talking about something negative, extremely negative, And that is how media runs, right? So he's making a point. What is your tolerance? Can you handle this kind of FUD? Because you're going to get a lot of it every single day. It's not going to stop. So what is your tolerance, right?
The stock market's a very good place to be, but I can toss a coin now. Is it going to be lower 2 years from now? Higher? I don't know. More people lost money waiting for corrections and anticipating corrections than the actual corrections. Well,
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? No one knows if things are going to go higher or lower in 2 years. But the main thing is most people lost more money waiting for a correction than the correction itself. Think about that. Think about that for a second. The anticipation of pain is usually worse than the pain itself. And that is what he's saying. He's a veteran, okay? If you don't believe me, he's been around for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And he's seen this. And so many people keep waiting and waiting and waiting for anticipation of that next doomsday drop. And then things come back and they actually lost out. They lost more had they just held through the dip. So just let that sink in for a second.
You ought to look in the mirror every day and say, what am I going to do if the market goes down 10%? What do you do if it goes down 20? Am I going to sell? Am I going to get out? If that's your answer, you should be reducing it today. Well, hey, there's perfect record.
Another good point. What is it go? What's your conviction? What's your faith? Right? If the market goes down 10, 20, 30%, and you don't like that, then you should probably be reducing right now, because then that means you're not a true investor. That means you're in it to make a quick buck. You're in it to trade, right? So that's exactly what his point is. What the hell just happened there? Hold on a second. My door just like slammed open for some reason. Right? So, I mean, he's talking about weak hands versus diamond hands. I mean, that's what he's really talking about. Paper hands. If you can't handle a 10 to 20% drop, you probably should not be in the game, right? I know that sounds that sounds easier, than it is, right? I know it sucks to see your portfolio go down 10 to 20%, but this is what it is. If you want to invest, right, you got to be prepared for these kind of things. Or you go have the diamond hands to live through 10, 20% drops, or even more, 40 or 50% drops.
I think the 13 years I ran Magellan, the market went down 9 times, 10% or more. I had a perfect record. I went down more than the market. Every time I went down more. So I just didn't worry about it. The point is, would you say to yourself, do I need this money in a year? Do I need this money in 2 years? Do I need this money in 3 years? So my longer term stock market's been the best place to be last 10 years, last 30 years, last 130 years. But if you need the money in 1 or 2 years, you shouldn't be buying stocks.
That's the point I've been making. Don't invest more than we can afford to lose. There's too many people in the game right now, and you guys know I'm talking about like the long leverage traders, the ones that put in a whole bunch of leverage, right? And you could even argue people that are borrowing against their crypto. They're in the same way. They get margin called too. And there's others that are putting all their money in because they're maxing out their credit cards. They're taking out a home equity loan and stuff like that. You should not be doing that. You should not be doing that. You should only put enough, right, that you feel comfortable, that you don't need for the next, according to him, 1, 2, 5, 10 years. This is an investment. This is something that you want to hold for long term. Again, not a quick flip, not a quick trade, because if you're putting that much risk and a trade goes wrong, you're really wrecking yourself, right? So again, that's the point I've been making for a long time.
You should be in a money market fund. Well, I think emerging markets, and that's not my expertise, but...
All right, I think that's it. I remember the rest of this interview is the rest of this is just talking about other stuff, emerging markets and other various things that doesn't relate. But my point is this, right? I think a lot of things that he just said makes a whole lot of sense. You're investing in the future, right? If you can't handle a few dips, you probably shouldn't be in it. Right? If you can't handle the nonstop media FUD, you probably shouldn't be in it. And if you're looking for a quick trade and you're over leveraged and you can't, you can't live without these funds, you probably shouldn't be in it. But for everyone else that can handle the media FUD, can handle these dips, can handle holding 1, 2, 3, 5 years into the future without needing this, you know what? Then you're gonna be doing okay with crypto. You're gonna be fine. You're one of those that have diamond hands, right? And it doesn't mean that everyone gets there. I'm not trying to shame people that isn't there. It took me a very, very long time to get there. It took me years upon years upon years with mistakes. Many mistakes. Many mistakes over the years, right? But I've been growing and learning, and that's what I'm here to help you guys with. But I love this video because it basically said everything that makes a whole lot of sense. So yeah, stick with me. Stick with this channel if you want to survive this. And you will. Things always look bleak. Things always look worse than they are. They always look worse than they are. And things tend to come around much faster than expected. So with that said, let's dive in. Let's look at altcoins and even Bitcoin. That's a massive discount. What do you do? What do you do when things are a massive discount? You take advantage. You take advantage just like the big boys. What do? They buy low and sell high. They don't buy high and sell low. Not the opposite. You buy low, sell high, and right now we are pretty darn low. All right, so let me look at these super chats. Joshua, I'm not sure what your point is. Yes, we have halvings. The blow off top is at the end of the year. We're not at the end of the year, so I don't know what you're asking, but thank you. I'm gonna check Hogel Finance later. I don't know if I want to check these smaller ones. And Joshua sent again the same one. 4-year cycles tend to follow through, but this year, like I said, we got a lot of institutional investors coming in. So this 4-year cycle may not be the same. It could continue. Caesar says, I opened a KuCoin account just for the dips. I'm not a short-term investor. It's because of the channel. I believe I'll succeed. I believe you will too. Stick with the game plan. Buy low, buy the dips. Doesn't mean you go all in on the dips. We're going to see plenty of them, right? But whatever you have and you're thinking about buying in, the cash you have on the side, spread it out to increments, right? Buy little, right? Make sure you have a good amount, right? That way you don't miss out and you're cost averaging over the long haul. That's how you find a true bottom, right? No matter what anyone says, oh, this is going to be a bottom, no one truly knows. But the one thing that works is dollar cost averaging over the long haul and holding. All right, so I don't know what's going on with my doors. It's like ghosts, like opening my doors, just keeps flinging open. All right, all right. Let's do this. So looking at overall market cap, we're closer, 1.5 trillion. We were at 1.7 recently. Obviously, our peak is at 2.3. If you look at a 24 and 7 day, mostly things are in green. But you know what? I think we need to go further back. And look at what is really on a discount. So if you go back 1 week, you can see that there are still some greens. A lot of reds. But what about if we go back 1 month? There are still some greens, but a lot more reds. So let's go back 3 months. So 3 months would put us right around March timeframe, right? March timeframe was a pretty good crypto, altcoin season, right? Starting from January all the way until March, Bitcoin did really good. Bitcoin kind of started stalling out around March, and that's when altcoins started doing really good. So if you go back 3 months, you'll see that, man, majority of these are in the green and way in the green. So number one is, as dire as it seems right now, it's really not. There are a few cases where, yes, you're in the red, but had you bought 3 months ago, you would still be up substantially today, okay? Now, I know this doesn't apply for people that got in a month ago or 2 months ago, but for those of you guys that's been in at least since February and March, you should still be up substantially based on what I'm seeing here. But even if you're not, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't mean the end of the world. That is what a correction like this brings. It's an opportunity. It's a gift. It allows you to buy low. It resets things, right? So let's look at this real quick and see what bargains exist. Number one, right on top, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is 25% lower than where it was 3 months ago. I would say that's a screaming buy. That's a screaming buy. People always think Bitcoin is too expensive. They thought that when it was at 10,000. They thought that when it was at 20,000, 30,000, 40, 50, no matter what. Even when Bitcoin was at 5,000, people thought it was too expensive because people always gravitated towards smaller altcoins. And I mean like the retail people. I don't mean everyone, but it does show that Bitcoin is definitely on discount right now. To get it at 35,000, and maybe it goes down even lower to 30,000, definitely a bargain to be had right now. Now, going down the list, you look at Ethereum, it's still up 64%. That's not a real bargain. BNB, 41%. Okay, it's still pretty good. I'd say Cardano being only up 12%, 12% from 3 months ago, that's pretty good. That's pretty good to a bargain, right? That's pretty good. So I would say Cardano is not bad. Doge obviously still up 500%. I mean, that's not real a bargain, but yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. XRP up almost 100%. That's not really a bargain either. So going down the list, this stands out. Polkadot. Polkadot has been really, really weak. Really, really weak for a long time. I don't know why. They had all the momentum before, and then it just kind of got weaker. You know, maybe a lot of that money went into Matic. You know, that's why Matic has pumped up so much. But Polkadot seems to be really, really a bargain right now. Down 36%, 37% for the last 3 months. Now, you move down the list, I would say Uniswap is also a good one, only up 4%. Chainlink only up 4%. These are projects that I do like a lot. I do think that they're pretty attractive right now. Going down the list, I mean, Stellar's in the red, green, it's okay. Yeah, you know what? They're close enough to being big cap. I think they were a big cap. I think they could be a good pickup right now. Obviously, looking at Matic at 750% does not look like such a bargain right now, right? And even Ethereum Classic, 500%, Solana, 100%. These are way high. With that said, I still like Matic quite a lot. And I do like Solana quite a lot. I think these are two very promising chains that is attracting a lot of dApps, and they could have much greater gains coming later this year. So I do like them quite a lot. And then you go down the list, you know, all these projects I like, they're still in the green, way in the green. For example, VeChain is still up 150%. They have been weaker recently, I know that, but still, they're up 150% versus 3 months ago. But yeah, I love me some VeChain. So I like them. Theta, I do like them. They also stalled out a little bit, but they do have their new mainnet coming up in a month or so, and they're still up 100%. Yeah, even though they're not in the red like Polkadot, but still, you go down the list a little bit, like a DeFi project like Aave, they're down a little bit. I still think Aave is a good hold. Just like I think Compound is a good hold as DeFi plays. You go down the list, you know, like Neo, Celsius, they're still up. You know, like Crypto.com. Crypto.com, I think, down 25%. I think they're a good hold. They were at 5-6 billion market cap not too long ago. They're doing some good things, so I do think they're attractive also. Same thing with, look at Cosmos. Cosmos down 31% from 3 months ago, right? I think they are very discounted right now. Cosmos has so much going on. I don't know what's going on with Cosmos. Kind of like Polkadot. They're just like, they just don't get the attention. They don't get the love, but they will. People have been freaking out about PancakeSwap, saying, why is it not moving? Well, it's still up 40%, and I still do like them. I still do like them quite a bit. Kusama, the sister chain of Polkadot, been doing better than Polkadot. Polkadot's down 30-something%. Kusama's still up 20-something%. It could be because people are gravitating towards a cheaper chain, and Kusama is pretty much identical, except the governance is a little bit different, and parachains will come to Kusama first. So yeah. Thorchain. A lot of people talk about Thorchain. It's like a decentralized yield pool for DeFi projects. I never got into that early, but they're doing fantastic. Even after a recent dip, they're still up 136%. I talked about Aave being a red. Compound is in a red. I like them. Hedera is doing pretty good at still 80%. Chili's. People complain about Chili's. What's going on? Why is Chili's not going up? Well, there's really nothing to be worried about when it's still up 420% from 3 months ago, right? Chili's is one of the premier NFT plays. They have a lot of football clubs signed up, or I should say soccer clubs, and they're expanding. T-Fuel also with with Theta, they're doing fantastic. Hollow, Telcoin has been on fire in the remittance game. So not really a bargain. They're not really in the red, but I think Telcoin shows a lot of promise. Hollow, people ask me about. I think they're okay. They're still working on their new chain. Synthetic, a lot of people ask me about Synthetic as a DeFi project. Looking at this, they would be a good pickup. Something with Elrond, except the fact that I think Synthetic is going to be weaker going forward because there's a lot of competition in that space in terms of creating a synthetic token or creating a synthetic something of a real world thing. So they might be weaker. But you know what? Down 40%. And Elrond also, recently I've not heard much about Elrond chain. They're very similar. They're very similar to Harmony too. A fast EVM sharding chain. They have a lot of partnerships, but haven't heard much about them recently. But down 28% could be a good buy. I like AMP quite a bit, but you know what? They're still up 50%. You go down the list like Zilliqa, pretty promising. Engine is still up. I just talked about Engine recently. They're still up 131%, right? But still, one of the premier NFT plays. I don't think you should sleep on. All right, before I continue, let me make sure I didn't miss any. Let me see. Solancha, be transparent like BitBoy showed you before. I never do that because I never want anyone to copy trade me. I want people to make their own decisions. Even people on Patreon. People think that I'm giving financial advice. I'm not. I'm just giving you my opinion. I'm giving guidance, but you have to decide what to do with your portfolio. Burgermeister, Coinbase Pro turned my profits into USD, not USDC. Is this bad? No, you could change USDC back to USD. So it doesn't really matter. As long stable coins can be converted back. John David, yeah, I can't comment on that. All right. Kevin asked how about taking advantage of tax loss harvesting? Yes, there is something that you could do with crypto, at least in the US, that you can't do with stocks. And that is if you're way up in the green, but I mean, the tax season is over, but if you're way up, you could actually, this is not tax advice, but look it up. You could actually sell at a loss to kind of counteract your gains and then rebuy back. And as long as you don't move anything when you rebuy back, then you don't have to worry about taxes, right? So I forgot, is it called wash trading? I think it's called wash trading, but it's still legal for crypto, but not legal for stocks anymore. So those of you guys that are worried about taxes, you should look into that. All right, let's move on. What else is there? BAT, I love BAT. I like Near too. They're promising chain. Not a whole lot going on yet, but they do have some stuff. They're pretty attractive. BAT, I think they're attractive. They're still up 40%. That's not bad. Going down the list, a lot of decent ones. I hear about MDAX, which is like a AMM on Huobi. They haven't done that well. I don't know if I believe their volume though. But you go down the list like Nano, Ontology, Bancor, Digibyte, OMG. Like these are ones that's been around for a while. I think they're okay. And something like Digibyte could be interesting because it's barely up about 7%. Harmony, you guys know I love myself Harmony, and they're still up 230%. They're doing really good. The graph looks like a big bargain. I think the graph, there's not a whole lot of competition, but you know what? I think graph is still very necessary for API creation of DeFi projects. So they're down 62%. That could be a good pickup right now. What else? Like 0x, UMA, Swissberg, Cello, Phantom. I think these are good pickups. There's a good pickups. I think out of the group, I like Phantom the most. Because I think they're more like, they're more like Harmony. They're more like Polygon. I think, they can come up. Now, Cello is more like a payment thing. They compete with Cody, which a lot of people like. UMA, they're kind of synthetic token creation. 0x is a DEX protocol. Swissborg is like a financial app. So I think these are promising too. But out of the group, I definitely like Phantom the most. I mean, I have no idea what Rapids is. That's just on a crazy pump right now. Like KuCoin token, I talk about that because I love KuCoin, right? Still up 40%, but still, I think they're going to do very well. Arweave still up 35%, but still, they're the backbone. They're the storage play for Solana. So I think they're really good. Pundi, people are big fans of Pundi. I was too, but I don't know what happened after redenomination and a new token. They kind of lost it a little bit. But you know what? Down 60, 70% in the last 3 months. Could be a bargain right now. Could be a bargain if they could turn things around, right? And going down the list, like Dent, they struggle a little bit, but they're still up 100%. What else is there? Nervos, RLC. RLC is still doing really well, up 232%. They are like a cloud computing. Mirrors, that's part of the Terra ecosystem. I like them. Venus down 41%, definitely a pickup in my opinion. The biggest lending play on Binance Smart Chain. Ren is down, but I'm kind of neutral on them. OG Orion, they're in NFTs. They're still doing very well. Storage, 56%, pretty good. Sushi, down 32%. I think that could be a good pickup. I don't think they're going to go away. I think they're one of the bigger AMMs that will stay. And, I'll just round it out there, right? So if you look at this list, I don't know the breakdown, but it seems like at least half is still in the green and still way in the green, right? So when things are looking really dire and everyone is telling you how it's the end, you just got to look at history and realize, well, had you just held for the last 3 months, you would have made a substantial amount, even with the drop that we have seen for the last 2.5 weeks, right? But with that said, there are a lot of red. So I think, you know what? You take advantage. If you're investing for a long haul, you're investing for the future. You're not in it for a quick buck. You're not in it for a quick trade. You know what? The name of the game is to buy low and sell high. And when things are down substantially, right? Good time to be picking up. Doesn't mean that you go all in. Doesn't mean you just put everything in on any single dip. No. It can always go down more. It could. But that's the point of dollar cost averaging, to sprout your buy. So you cost average over the long haul. And that's how you truly get a bottom. All right, guys. That is it. Let me scroll back up. Let me see what else I missed. Retta asks, hello, when the market is clearly bullish, do you still DCA every week? So there's 2 ways to DCA. There's one is where you set a schedule. It could be every week, every 2 weeks, every month, every quarter. You could just set it and forget it. You just never look at it, right? This works very well for people that are working. They don't have time to watch videos. They don't have time to analyze the charts. They believe, let's say, in Ethereum or Bitcoin. Right? They're just go buy a little bit amount every according to their schedule. And there's also ways to dollar cost averages when you look for discounts. Like when things are down 20, 30, 40, 50%, then you buy a little bit in, right? And if it goes down more, you buy a little more in. So there's a couple ways you could do that. Dennis says, Vim World NFT, part of VeChain, came on KuCoin, your thoughts? I don't know anything about it, so can't really tell you. And it didn't show up. What is it V? I'll have to look at that later. It's not on CMC yet. Tim asked, Bitcoin, ETH, card, vet, 10K in Bitcoin, ETH. Should I not pull out this too? I mean, you really should just follow the 50-25-25 rule. 50-25-25 means 50% Bitcoin, 25% big cap, 25% mid and small caps, right? So if you want to just put it all on Bitcoin or all on Bitcoin Ethereum, like a lot of people do, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But if, during bull markets especially, a lot of those mid caps and big caps, they will do very, very, very well. So that's why I still think following that strategy 50-25-25 works. All right, what else is there? Dennis says, kids, don't sell your ADA. You'll regret it. Stake and forget it. This is one of the reasons why I'm so impressed with Cardano. Is because over 70% of the supply is staked in, just staked. It's locked in, right? That shows you the conviction of people that hold ADA. It's really, really amazing. So, yeah, people that are buying and holding Cardano, they don't really give... they don't really care. They just buy more and keep staking and more and keep staking. And that's the right way to do it. That's how you make the big money, just by simply buying and holding long term. Just buy when the fear greed is, the fear and greed index, which is interesting because it tends to fluctuate from day to day sometimes. And I used to look at this all the time because there are days where, like, when it was really bullish, where this would be completely in the green, like 80s, and then all of a sudden we get a dip, and then like the next day or next week turns into like fearful, right? So I don't put too much emphasis on this. However, for those of you guys that are contrarians, you always look at the fact that, hey, if everyone is fearful, then it's time to be buying. Just like the opposite, when everyone is extremely greedy, that is the time to sell. So, that strategy isn't bad sometimes. But for me, yeah, I do look at this and say, hey, what do the big boys do? What do the Wall Street guys do? The ones that's manipulating the market right now, what do they do? They're doing what they're doing to buy low, to cause fear. And when there's fear, people panic sell. That's when they pick up. So I generally agree. I agree with that. Resenti says, got 10K to buy. How many coins would you split? There's really no right or wrong answer. You could hold as little as one and put it all in Bitcoin or put it all in the ETH. Or you could hold as many as 20, 30 or beyond. As long as you could control, like track it appropriately. As long as you can manage it, that's all you really need to care about. Should I hold Engine? I bought a 180. Engine is one of my top holds. I recently said that. I think they're if you're in the NFT space, they have so much going for it. So I like them. I do think they're going to do well in the future. Can you interview Ethan or Peng from Cosmos? Super smart guys. I love to chat. Maybe. You guys know I haven't done much interviewing recently. But I may pick that up again. If it's just like a casual chat or something, maybe I'll do that. But yeah, have them reach out to me. Lambos to sell mangoes. Should I hold all Harmony or stake or sell a portion? What will you do? I mean, Blake, it depends on if you're holding for long haul. If you're holding for long haul and you don't want to touch it, then yeah, you can stake it. Just stake it, collect interest or collect rewards, I should say, and just leave it in there. And if it does happen to fall and you do appreciate the project, you could dollar cost average in, right? I never advise panic selling because trust me, I have done panic selling more than I care to admit. But whenever I panic sell, it causes two reactions. Number one, I instantly regret it. And then it forces me to watch the market nonstop because I need to reaffirm my decision to panic sell. And as soon as, let's say whatever I panic sold climbed up, I'm itching to buy back in, right? Because I've then made a mistake. And it causes so much stress. It's just not really worth it. It's just not. Many times I panic sell, guess what? The underlying crypto goes up and I had to buy back and I lost out on a crypto, right? I lost out on potential gains. And I hate that. I hate that feeling. So I generally don't advise panic selling because it causes a lot of stress. A lot of times you hate yourself for it. Now the times that where it does work out, great. You know, sometimes you sell and then you time it so you can buy back in lower, right? But it's like a 50-50 shot. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And again, it's just caused a whole lot of stress. Not something that I do anymore. I rather just have cash on the side. And if I believe in a project, I'll dollar cost average a little more. That's what I do. Carlos says, I've invested big on Holochain. I got a good feeling about it. I'm holding long term. Well, good. You need to have that conviction. Do you think, Austin says, do you think synthetic will have a nice bounce back? I mean, all cryptos, I think, will have a good bounce back when Bitcoin comes back up again, right? Right now, still, I guess in that capitulation stage where the whales are still driving a lot of fears, they could still cause things to come down. But once we're past that, yeah, I think things will come back up. Although synthetic, I'm not so bullish on. I think they may be weaker in the going forward. Bruce, hey George, have you seen Kevin and Larry mention big institutions won't come in until the climate concerns are solved? Nah, that's BS. I guarantee you. I just did a video yesterday about BlackRock's connection with Tesla and how it's connected to Elon. I guarantee you those guys are buying in. They already bought in. They're buying in more. I guarantee you that. Just don't listen to Kevin and Larry when he talks about big boys. He talked about himself. He said, I'll never buy Bitcoin until ETF comes out. Guess what? He's been holding Bitcoin for years. And he's been lying the whole time about it. So I would not trust him to provide the information that's I don't know, beneficial to you. I don't think he's gonna give you that. The sad truth is, when things dump, a majority of people are going panic sell. Nothing we can do about it. You just have to get ready, right? The reason why that happens is because whenever we're in a bull market, you have a lot of new people coming into the space. You have new people coming into space. So that, yeah, they don't know any better, or some of them are in it for a quick buck. So when things go bad, they panic sell. But you know what? When those people grow diamond hands, they get some experience, or they simply leave, that's when things will come back, and we will. Why is there no flow in the market cap list? I don't know. CoinCodex somehow missed them or didn't have them up. Have you ever thought doing your streams on Theta to raise awareness? The thing is, I've looked at other people. Honestly, there's not that many views on Theta. For at least crypto, like gaming, they do very well. But people that stream other stuff like Theta, they get like 10 views, 20 views. It's not going to raise any awareness at all. Best place to stake ADA, go on one of the pools. They have like hundreds or thousands of pools. Just pick one. Cardano pools or pool stats. This is what I looked at before, I think. I think it's pool tools. Is it this? Yeah. 71%. 71% is locked in. That was mind-boggling. When I found that out, it blew my mind. But look at all these, right? There's 2,655 that you could stake in. GL, about once a week. But my Patreon is more about group collaboration, to be honest. I do provide more insight, but you know what? The people that are in there collaborating and helping each other and even talking about things that I'm not aware of, I think that's the true benefit. Michael asks, hey George, per your experience, how long does this fear fund manipulation period? It could be months. It could be months. I've been looking at this and I've kind of been sharing, you know, a lot of people don't look at kind of like history because it's history, it was the past. And things don't always line up, but they tend to rhyme. This is 2017. You look at this is, okay, let's just start from here. You could see right here when Bitcoin topped out to 2,800 in May, it didn't get back to that point until July. That's 2 months. You know, during this time, it was just as hairy. Like you have up and downs. This is zoomed out to the max, but it took 2 months, right? Before it actually got to the same point and continued on. Even then, when it formed a new high over here, about 4,000, 5,000, again, it took 2 months, right? So things didn't really, and even when they start going up, you can see there's a big dip, but look at this. This is the most important thing. When Bitcoin in November, mid-November, went from 6,000 to 20,000, right? So as we continue on, we're coming into June, right? I think this summer, maybe in springtime, we'll see some ups and we'll see some long periods of just sideways. So could we be in the 30,000s for, you know, the next 2 months until July? Maybe. And then we'll maybe go back up to 40 or 50,000 like before, and maybe we hang there for a couple more months. And then toward the latter half this year, we can see the same kind of explosive movement too. So, you know what? That's why I've been saying this is normal. We go through periods, even during bull runs, where you have consolidation, suppression, sideways movement, however you want to call it. We have seen it before, time and time again. Okay? So this is not unnatural. This is not unnatural. All right, guys. I'm going to let you guys go. I love BNB. I think Binance is only getting bigger. They're not going to go away. And yeah, Malt, I do not like those at all. They're meme coins with absolutely no use and no history either. So yeah, I don't like them. All right, guys, that is it. So thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. Stay strong, my friends. Stay strong. I really, really love this interview. So I'm going to post this in the description. You guys take a look at it again. I think what he said is perfect. There's a lot of FUD. There's a lot of FUD that you have to ignore, right? And you know what? If you really want to invest, you have to hold for long term. You have to ignore the short term dips because they really don't matter. It's a long term that you need to focus on, and that's what I follow. That's what I follow. All right, guys. Until tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right. Have a good one. Bye bye.